Lady stabs husband to death, then tries killing herself in Lagos. A lady has allegedly stabbed her husband to death before stabbing herself too at Diamond Estate, Ajah, Lagos. She is identified as Miss Otike Odibe. According to a report, trouble started around 10 p.m. last night between the deceased and his wife over property issues. It was gathered that the couple who are both lawyers are said to have no children between them, but the man has 3 children from another woman. The lady was alleged to have insisted that all the husband's properties must be willed to her, a demand that didn't go down well with the husband. An insider disclosed that after the wife stabbed her husband to death, she also stabbed herself, but was however rescued and rushed to the hospital where she has since been stabilized. The body of the deceased is currently being evacuated by the police. And then there's a video there. And all the video is just somebody saying, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, or something like that. The video didn't show anything. It's just somebody saying, I can't believe this happened, you know, stuff like that. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer, and to all of you that keep coming back, hello and welcome back. Just a quick reminder, if you've never subscribed, just to remind you to click that red button there that says subscribe, and after that click the bell sign. That way you get notification whenever I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it. One thing I really would like to be careful about is sometimes Nigerian news, you never get the full information. It's not like coming from, you can't put the finger on the source that's coming from. You know the way Nigerian news is, you know, you can't put your hand, you can't put a finger on exactly where the information is coming from. You don't know how reliable it is. People can be adding salt and pepper, and you know, it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's better when there's something and the police comes out and say this is what happened or whatever. This is just like, who is reporting this news? We don't know. Okay, if they had an argument, who was there when the argument was happening? Because this is an argument they had in their own home. So who is the person sharing this news? If they have no children between them, where the children, who was there, who heard all of this? So hopefully there's no too much false, you know, the tiny little details. You know, fine, something happened, but what happened or what the argument was, you know, we're not there. But why I like to share things like this is, it is not impossible that this happened. It's not the first time we've heard about matters like this, and it's not the, you know, it's not like it's impossible for something like that to happen. We see things like this happening all the time. The main things I want to talk about in this matter right now, right? My question is, if she is fighting over, she wants to inherit everything that belongs to her husband, sometimes things like this, you know, sometimes, you know, it's a bit sketchy. You don't know what to believe in the whole story or whatever. But let's say it happened the way it happened, and we want to learn from this experience. Although it's saying that she wants to inherit her husband's property. Now, she is a lawyer. She would know better than that. She knows the legality of everything. That's something else. So, but could it be, what I'm thinking is, it's possible that they bought things together, but she wants to inherit all of that. That makes more sense, because I don't understand how she knows this man has other children and she wants to inherit the things that belong to the man, like solely belongs to the man. No, you know, no sensible man in the world will let a woman inherit all his properties when he has children. No sensible man would do that. I think maybe they own the properties together and she's trying to inherit all of that. Okay, so like I said, we know, like I said, we don't know exactly what happened. The main area I want to talk about, the area I want to really address is this. You're getting involved with a man that already has children, or you are marrying a man that is married to more than one wife. These are the kind of things you have to prepare for. You have to. There's still a debate. A lot of people are against man marrying more than one wife. What's some people like, oh, it's our tradition, it's our tradition. But there's so much complication involved, because don't forget, things have changed. That is why it is more difficult nowadays to be married more than one woman than you did in the past. I've said it before, there was a time when women had no rights. Now this woman can come out and say, I want to inherit everything. There was a time when she wouldn't even have a say. You know, in the olden days, when our forefathers had 10 wives or whatever, the women had no say. Whatever the man said was yea and amen. The woman wouldn't even argue it. Whatever the man does, and women were trying to be nice so that their children can inherit something. The women had no jobs. The women had no aspirations. You know, the women had nothing. All they had was a man. And this man was married to like 10 other women. And you know, and then this man dies and there's war. All the children are fighting and scrambling over his properties, you know, fighting over inheritance. In the olden days when our forefathers practiced polygamy, women had no rights. That is the truth. Women had no rights. A man decides, women had no rights. A man decides he wants to marry 20 wives. That was his choice. If you said to you, your children will not inherit from my property, that was it. There was no argument about it. There was nothing. The maximum with the women would do would be juju. They will start using juju to kill the other one's child or kill the other one's child or whatever. There are some people that have come out and say, oh, we had amazing polygamy in our home. Happy for you. But I'm just saying, in general, if it was in the time of our forefathers, this woman will not come out and be claiming she wants to inherit all his property. For waiting. She can't dare it. She can't dare try that. But things are changing. Getting involved with a man that already has children, or getting involved with a man that already has other wives, and you're going to be wife number 2, number 3, number 4. These are the things you have to prepare for. Personally, I would never advise any woman to be a second wife, third wife, whatever. If a man was married before and you split up, fine. That is his past. But to be, you know what I mean? When it comes to things like this, where the man has other children, even if you end up having your own children, or the man has other children and you have no children, whatever, you have to bear in mind, the man owes his children something. Do you know what I mean? The man owes his children. Any reasonable man that has anything that can be called inheritance should, you know, his children should be his priority. His children should be his priority. If they put everything together, the wise thing to do would be split everything equally. She takes 50 and he takes 50, and he can give his own 50 as inheritance to his children. Do you know what I mean? And she can keep her own 50 and do whatever she wants to do with it. Normally what happens is you cannot disinherit your wife. She has to have an inheritance. So his dependents as well, he cannot disinherit them. There's a way it works out. So you have to go by the law. It's not by your feelings or your emotions or what you want. You know what I mean? But what I feel is this: as a woman, you have to have a heart. If a man has children, you cannot expect him not to leave inheritance for his children. Doesn't make any sense. Would you like the father of your children to have inheritance and not leave inheritance for his children because of a woman? Like, think about it. That doesn't make any sense. Let me then address the women that are marrying into a situation where they're going to be wife number 2, number 3, number 4, or a situation where you're going to be more than one wife. My advice for you is this: since you've made the choice to get into a situation like that, prepare, work, and save for your children. Let me tell you, do you know, I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point, you know. And the reason some people may think, oh, you know, she's a feminist, I don't even know if I can call myself a feminist, because if you ask me if I'm a feminist, I will tell you it depends on your definition of feminism. That's another topic for another day. People are taking it too far. Like, there are some women that have said, you know, out of feminism, you know, in the summer here in Europe, you know, out of feminism, because men can walk, some men, if it's a hot day, men take their shirts off for fresh air, that women should be able to do the same in public. Like, and you call that feminism? Like, if that's feminism, I don't want to be part of that. That's where it comes to, and I'll be like, no, okay, I'm not into all of that. But what I want to say is, why a lot of my videos begin to sound like just women empowerment. The reason I always address things from the women point of view is, I'm still going to talk about our culture. Our culture favors the men. That's why the women are very vulnerable and disadvantaged in a lot of situations. So if you have already made the choice that you want to be married to a man that has 10 wives or several other wives or whatever, my advice for you is this: you can work so hard, make enough money that you have inheritance for your own children, that when the man dies, your children should not need to depend on whatever he's leaving behind. You can do that. The days when women hang around doing nothing and waiting for the man to do everything, those days are coming to an end. Those days are coming to an end. You don't even have to wait for those days. You can decide that today I want to show my children, especially my female children, independence. I want to teach them independence. I want to teach them you do not need a man to be somebody in life. So if you're already in that situation where your man has more than one woman, start planning for your children. Start saving for your children, you know. But on top of that, I no longer believe in training children to grow up and wait for inheritance. No. Let me tell you, if your children are successful, right, even your husband's house can be the size of their kitchen. Yes. That is the best way I can put it. Do you know your children can grow up and be so successful that whatever inheritance, whatever their father has, is nothing to them? That is what you should aspire for. Independence in children. I'm never raising my children to be waiting to find out what I left for them. No, I am raising my children, and I always say to my children, your education is your future. You know, focus on your future. And I tell my children, this is me, this is my life, this is my life, this is my life. Whatever I have done, this is my life, this is how I'm living it. And if you want to know what your life is going to be, you start working on it now. Start working on it now. You know, I am training my children to grow up and be somebody. They don't have to be waiting for what I left behind. That is not my dream for my children. But there are some women that all they do is sit around and be calculating their husband's inheritance, and they'll be fighting over inheritance. You know, what will my children inherit from this man when he's gone? And then they start killing each other and start winching each other and start jujuing each other and start fighting over rubbish. Instead of start fighting now, start doing something. If you want to open a business, if your children are in school, empower them in the best way that you can. Encourage them to go to school. If you need to get private tutor and you can afford it, you know, get them private tutor. Do whatever you can do so that they can get good education or whatever, and they can grow up to be financially independent themselves. They don't need to wait for inheritance. Stop treating yourself like without a man you can't do anything. You can start empowering your children. You know, all this fighting for inheritance, a lot of lives have been lost because of fight for inheritance. A lot of lives. You know, I actually know people that have told their children, when I die, not in Africa now, like, when I die, I'm leaving nothing. I'm giving everything to charity. So what you want to do, start doing it now. If you want to start the business, I will start it for you now. If you want to do this, start doing it now. Because don't wait for inheritance. I want you guys to earn things for yourselves. There are some wealthy people that have done that. You know what I mean? Let's not start raising the next generation of losers that are sitting around and be like, oh, let's wait for our father to die. No. Everybody, if their father could make wealth himself, the same way the children can make wealth themselves. If you ask me, I would never advise anybody to go into polygamy. I don't care what a man's past is, but if a man chooses to be with me, it's going to be just me. That's it. And if I'm with somebody and the person decides he wants to bring somebody else in, I'll be saying goodbye. If you want to leave your previous relationship, you end your previous relationship and start afresh with somebody else. Another thing is, I always said that before, be careful about your actions at that minute when everything is boiling, when the whole argument is hot. Be very careful. Like this woman now, okay, you're trying to kill the man and kill yourself. What are you going to gain? Nothing. The so-called inheritance, you're not going to get it if you're dead. You know? So I don't understand. When you're angry, don't act. Take a breather. Walk away. Take time to process what you're trying to do. Now, she's going to go to jail. If there's going to be justice and truly she killed the man, she's going to be going to jail. Now, the man is dead and she's going into jail. So what's going to happen to the inheritance? Well, the man's children, as far as I know, will be getting it. Something else we have to always remember. Do not act when you're angry. Do not act when when the matter is hot. I just hope we can learn from this experience. Every time I say I hope we can learn, life is a journey. We keep learning every single day. You never stop learning, even to the day we die. Some of the things we learn in life from our own personal experiences, but sometimes we learn from other people's experiences. If you want to avoid the drama, from day one, you can buy properties by yourself and don't buy together and prevent things like this. When the love is sweet, people think everything will always be rosy. It may not always be rosy because 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, things can go sour. Prepare for those days. Something else, I would never advise anybody to go into polygamy. If it doesn't matter if the man had married how many times before, but let it be that he's leaving one for another, rather than go and be in a polygamous village. Personally, I won't do it. That's something else. Then if you decide to go into it, prepare for things like this. Prepare your children for the future. Don't train your children to be hanging around and waiting for their father's inheritance. It's never the right way to go. And you too can have inheritance for your children. But I think most importantly, train your children not to be waiting for inheritance from anybody. Train them to prepare themselves to grow up and be independent adults. And lastly, like I said, when there is an argument, when it's getting to that very boiling point, take a breather. Take a breather. Do not act, because those are the times we do things we end up regretting. And with that, I'm just gonna say thank you all for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
It's goodbye, friend.